From Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Atlanta Braves Game 2 of a good old-fashioned twilight doubleheader. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, dedicated to advancing cancer research, treatment, and care. More science, less fear. By Spectrum. Hey Mets fans, join America's fastest growing TV, internet, and voice provider. Get the Spectrum Triple Play today. By Cadillac. Visit CadillacTristate.com for exceptional offers. By Geico, over 75 years of saving and service. And by Investors Bank, banking in your best interest. After a brief pause, welcome back live inside Citi Field. Clearly, I'm not Gary, Keith, nor Ron. I am Steve Gelbs. Those three will be with you in just a little bit. Mets drop Game 1 of this doubleheader 9-2 to the Braves. Still doing decently well against this Braves team in what has been a disappointing season overall. 9-7 against the Braves this year in their head-to-head series. And the Mets pitching well against this Atlanta Braves team. Mets pitching has been an issue all season, holding the Braves to a 3.68 ERA against them. And the guy that will try and continue that today for the Mets is Seth Lugo, coming off a really nice game, 5 innings strong. He had been held most of the time to about 70 to 75 pitches in the past few outings, but the Mets let him go over 80 as he pitched 5 strong against the Miami Marlins. He will be opposed by rookie Max Fried. Mets get a second rookie on the day. Fried making his 3rd career start in the minors. Not too impressed between AA and AAA this season. An ERA of 5.54. But that'll be the pitching matchup as we get you set here for the Mets and the Braves, Game 2 from the Big Apple. Drive for Puerto Rico at Citi Field this week. Fans may drop off items Tuesday and Wednesday between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. and on Thursday and Friday between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. Visit Mets.com/hurricane relief for more information. Mets looking for a split of today's doubleheader. Gary, Keith, and Ron, they're on the call of it. It's all coming up next.
Braves for game number 2. Inciarte, Markakis, Ruiz all playing both ends of the doubleheader. Albies as well. Ruiz's first big league start at first base as he moves over from third to give Freddie Freeman a spell on the nightcap. As Seth Lugo, coming off a good start in Miami his last time out, takes the mound.
Well, good start in Miami, and he's look at his Land Rover numbers. He's had 2 good starts against Atlanta this year. Now, albeit it was down there in Georgia, but hoping to look for that same effort here tonight.
And the defense. Your Lexi 2017 New York Metropolitans. Plawecki at first base, Cicchini at second base, Mr. Reynolds at short, Cabrera the only veteran on the infield, Tyrone getting the start in right field, Lagares and Nimmo getting all the playing time.
Only a century late.
Well, I'm always the last to know.
It's Lexi now.
What? Oh, well, did I say Lexi?
Well, I think that's the plural of Lexus. Well, the Lexi.
I just woke up from a nap.
Yes, we could tell. Do we have video of Keith's nap, by the way? Ender Inciarte leads off, 1 for 4 in the opener. Lugo ready to go, and the first pitch of the nightcap is slapped to shortstop. Reynolds right in front of it. He throws out Inciarte, 1 pitch, and Lugo has his first out of the night. So Inciarte still 2 hits shy of the coveted 200 hit plateau. And now Ozzie Albies, who opened the scoring in the first game with a home run against Chris Flexen in the 4th. Really 2 different games in that opener, and we've seen that so often The starters were terrific for the first 5. Flexen and Sims. 1-0 game Atlanta after 5, and then the game devolved from there.
Yeah, I mean, it was Flexen who blinked first, right? And it started off innocently with the pitcher getting a hit. But really, for Chris, as he moves forward, it's the walks that he's going to have to somehow figure out.
Albies' first game home run was his 5th in the big leagues, bluffing a bunt there, drawing Cabrera in from third. Lugo pitched to Jim. In fact, it was his first start of the season. Remember, he missed the first 2.5 months because of the partially torn ligament in his elbow, and his first start was in Atlanta June 11th, and he was tremendous that night. As Albies lifts one out to left center, Nimmo back, and he's there. 2 out. Lugo in that start on June 11th went 7 innings, 1 run, 6 hits, won the game 2-1. And as Ronnie mentioned, that was his second fine start against the Braves. He had one last year as well.
That's right. He was so efficient in that game with his pitches.
Here's Nick Markakis, moved up to the 3 spot in the batting order in the nightcap. Went 1 for 3 in the opener. He had that 2-run double right over the third base bag against Josh Smoker that really fueled the Atlanta victory in the first game. Markakis at 275 for the year, and he takes a knee-high fastball for a strike. Well, 2 of the last 3 outings for Lugo have been really good. He had that clunker in Chicago in between, but trying to finish his season strong. And it was interesting, Ronnie. We had him up in the booth yesterday, and I asked him, you know, what it was going to be like going into the offseason, nursing this partially torn elbow, which, again, other pitchers have worked through. He said he's really not sure what they're going to have him do in the offseason. It's still to be determined how he's going to get himself best ready for next year.
Well, it's funny, after a while, once I figured out kind of my body and how it was supposed to be at the end of the season and before the beginning of the next season, I had my own physical therapist, and I would see that person as soon as the season was done, and they would kind of do a lot of measurements and look at your body and how it had changed, and you know, things to work on to make sure that you had, you know, both sides of your body were kind of the same, so you weren't overdeveloped on one side or the other, and go to work.
Huh. I wish I had done that.
1-2 to Markakis, and the curveball slapped over third, just like his hit in the first game.
Breaking ball away, same pitch.
This time they'll get only 1 base out of it, as Nimmo played the carom nicely off the tarp, and it's a 2-out single for Markakis.
Breaking ball in the back door, and I think you should can that one out. It's twice he's done that, and that's enough.
Did it against the lefty in the first game and against the righty here.
I think next time you get in that count ahead, you put one close to the El Cheno.
Your Spanish is just impeccable.
Impeccable is not exactly the word I would use. Here's Kurt Suzuki hitting cleanup in the nightcap. Suzuki just rewarded with a new contract for next year, having the best offensive year of his career at age 33. 18 home runs in just 259 at bats. Lugo sells one high, 1-1. Let's have Kevin Plawecki playing first base in the nightcap. First time he's ever appeared at first base in a major league game, and he's holding on against Markakis. Different glove, different perspective. That's hit toward third, snatched out of the air by Cabrera. Side retired. A hit and 1 left. Mets come to bat in the bottom of the first with no score. only Nimmo and Lagares playing both games. Everybody who sat in game 1 getting a start in game 2. Both Darno and Plawecki in the lineup together for the first time.
So we've had Darno start for the first time at third base. Reynolds start in the major leagues, first time at first base. Plawecki now, first time at first base. We saw a lot of first timers this year.
It's a time for experimentation, like with Max Fried, who's going to make his third major league start.
Well, Fried, you see the game so far, 2 starts. Toyota numbers, strikeouts are up, the walks are up. Still a work in progress, but he's got great stuff and a great curveball. That's his strength.
Brandon Nimmo 1 for 4 in the opener, leading off in the nightcap. And takes the fastball for a strike.
Better swing the bat. Hunter Wendelstedt has a big strike zone tonight.
No, it's always good for a second game of a doubleheader.
I think we're all in favor.
How many doubleheaders have the Mets played this year, Gary?
This is the 4th.
I'm telling you, for all the rain that happened early in the year and the unseasonable rainy spring we had and early summer, it's remarkable it's only been 4.
I didn't remember that. Did we have a particularly rainy spring?
Oh my goodness, are you kidding? Poured.
It all seems so long ago. Curveball sits up and into Nimmo 1-2.
If I remember correctly, when we were out of town, the Yankees had the devil of a time getting on the field back in the early part of the season.
You have a great meteorological memory.
No, I have a great memory when it comes to rainouts and rain delays.
Nimmo drives one deep to left. Back goes Adams onto the track. He can't get it. It hops over the wall for a ground rule double. Lane Adams having trouble with the angle to that ball, and Nimmo has his 9th double of the year.
Well, Lane Adams here. Tough time with this. Jace Peterson's an infielder. He had trouble. And that left field over there has got a little frayed. Oh, he missed it. He had it.
Didn't even see it. His head turned away from it.
Oh.
So the Mets have a leadoff runner at second. And now Juan Lagares, who had a big first game, went 3 for 3 with 3 base hits right up the middle. And he checks a swing and takes inside from Fried.
Ronnie, you just came back from Milwaukee and you said you saw quite a pitching performance from a left-hander who just did that. You said pitching inside.
Yeah.
Quintana.
Grounded toward the hole. That's going to go through for a base hit. Nimmo held up. He is not going to advance. And then Adams bobbles it in left field.
How does that happen?
It's a little bit of a comedy there. Nimmo didn't have a good read on where the hole was because that ball was going through all the way. Garcia was never going to get to it.
That's not knowing where your infielders were because the shortstop is behind you.
You don't have to know. He doesn't have to go back. You come down the line, get down the line a little more. So that's a base running blunder. Should be first and third. We got a lot of youngsters out there. So no need to go back and all this back and forth stuff. And it's too late.
And he knew he had made a mistake there.
Yep.
So first and second, nobody out, and now it's Dribble Cabrera, who had a pinch hitting assignment in the first game and popped up, but hitting .388 from the right side of the plate this year. And what's interesting about Cabrera as a right-hand batter is that when he started out the year, before he went on the disabled list back in June, he was hitting only .233 against lefties. Since he's been back, .479 since late June when he returned from the DL.
Do you think because of the numerous injuries that he's had this year, more comfortable or stronger from the right side because of those injuries? I don't know.
I don't know. I do know he's 6 for his last 6 and 10 for his last 12 from the right side of the plate. And fouls off the curveball from Fried, and it's 1-2.
Fried's a Santa Monica, California kid. Went to Harvard Westlake. Committed to UCLA, but drafted in the first round by the San Diego Padres.
High school teammate and very good friend of Lucas Giolito, who pitched a gem of a game for the White Sox last night, the former Nationals prospect, guy they traded for Adam Eaton. defensive cut foul ball. And both Giolito and Fried were considered top of the line prospects.
Can't miss prospects.
Well, Fried was the 7th overall pick in the draft by the Padres coming out of high school.
Traded in the Justin Upton trade, right?
One-two coming, and the fastball low and in. You see 96 from Fried. Average fastball velocity has been 92, but he's got a little extra in the tank. And the curveball stopped on a hop by Suzuki, 3-2.
You can always tell the young pitchers when they're out there, as you look at this breaking ball, it kind of holds on to a little too long. They're just, you can see them in the first inning. They're very jittery, you know, taking big deep breaths.
Hasn't pitched in 9 days since he faced the Mets in a relief outing. Hasn't started a game since the 9th of September. And Cabrera just got a piece of that to stay alive.
Fouled right back into the chest protector of Hunter Wendelstedt.
Looks a little bit like his dad.
He does.
Harry, of course, was his father, one of the fine umpires in the National. Ooh,
as a chest protector, yes, but it hit him in the right shoulder.
It's like a Stan Stasiak heart punch.
Well, not sure exactly what that means, but Hunter Wendelstedt got to sit the first game, as all the home plate umpires do in doubleheaders. Is that like a wrestler?
That was a wrestler. It was a tag team. Stan Stasiak and the Gladiator.
Tap to the right side, foul.
Stan Stasiak had the infamous heart punch. You go in for the kill with the heart punch.
I don't know.
You ate that stuff up as a kid, obviously.
In high school, I watched for a bit.
I don't know if I was laughing because of how you said it, or that I knew what you were talking about.
I just never got into the wrestling as a kid. Now roller derby.
Yeah, big
now
time.
that was great.
I watched roller derby, the Bay Area Bombers,
Johnny
right?
O'Connell.
And Joan Weston.
Mike Gannon, the fastest man on skates. Ninth pitch of the at-bat coming to Cabrera. And he grounds one over the bag. Garcia on the backhand, out at second. Albies relay in time for the 5-4-3 double play.
Nice. Beautiful double play. Down the line. That's corner to, that's around the horn here. Nice backhand, plant, throw, perfect feed. Very nice.
That's Rio Ruiz playing first base. His first major league start at first base. Only had 5 games there in his minor league career. You don't want to throw them anywhere but in his chest, if that's the case. Same thing for Plawecki today. D'Arnaud takes a curveball for a strike. So Fried, after giving up 2 hits to start the inning, a double and a single, now has a path out of it. In part because of the poor base running by Nimmo. By all rights, the Mets should have a run now, even after the double play. Had Nimmo gone to third on the base hit by Lagares. D'Arnaud hitting .300 in the month of September. Both he and Plawecki are finishing strong. That's why Terry shoehorned them both into the lineup for this game against the lefty. And changeup misses. 3-1.
Kind of gives it away. That changeup. Interesting choice here of pitches. You got Plawecki up next. D'Arnaud. You'd have to know this as a pitcher. He's a young pitcher. Red hot right now.
Nimmo at third and 2 out. And D'Arnaud goes after the changeup. Full count. I guess he knew.
Yeah, guess he knew.
23-year-old Max Fried. 20 pitches deep in the first inning, and the breaking ball bounced to third. Another chance for Garcia, and that retires the side. Mets get 2 hits, but strand a runner. There he is. Stasiak.
There he is. That infamous heart punch. Stay away. He almost was in Kill Bill.
Seth Lugo back to the mound for the second inning. No score. Rio Ruiz will lead off against Lugo, and Seth positioning his shortstop. That's interesting.
Love
to see.
that.
Normally that gets done from the bench and sometimes on cheat sheets based on where they want to shift. But you know, there was a day when pitchers would do that all the time.
Right. You know, a certain guy you knew that you're going to go after with the soft stuff. So hey, you'd let your guys know. Come on, play in the pull.
Rio Ruiz drove in a couple of runs in the first game with a pair of sacrifice flies. Ruiz and the Braves starting pitcher tonight, Max Fried, were travel ball teammates from the time they were 14 in LA. Fly ball out to left. Nimmo back a few strides, has room. 1 out. MLB.tv every night, every device. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live, plus get a free subscription to At-Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. One out now. Johan Camargo, Braves shortstop, who's had a really nice rookie season as a utility infielder. This is his 58th start. He's hitting .306. Switch hitter, and he takes a knee-high strike. Camargo from Panama, just 23 years old. And fouls one off his leg. 0-2.
Love what Lugo does early in games. He kind of keeps it really simple. Uses his fastball a lot. Pitches the spots. Occasional breaking ball. It's a difficult hitter, but he really tries to rush through that first time through the order, which you should try to do.
Which is, you know, it can be difficult when you have 11 different pitches.
Yeah. Save those for the next innings, the second and third time around.
I mean, I loved when he did his explanation to Steve of all his variations. There's the big curve ball, grounded out to second, and Cicchini makes the play on Camargo for the second out. So 2 up and 2 set aside. 2 for the price of 1. A lot of fans just can't turn that down.
Were you totally into that as a kid?
Oh,
Doubleheads?
any time you could go to doubleheader.
I agree.
That was like the greatest thing ever.
Now, what would you do for pocket change? Because 2 games cost twice as much. If you're going to get a couple of drinks or
Well, you had to watch,
soft drinks,
your
or
budget.
okay,
You know, maybe a knish, maybe a hot dog. Did they still have the knish at Citi Field? Because that was the big item at the Shea Stadium concession
is that
stand.
right?
They didn't have a lot of items there, but
Yeah.
the knish was a big part of the
Really?
repertoire. You know, I mean, you didn't have your Shake Shacks and your Patent Fritas. You didn't have, you know, Mamas. You just had your basic concession stand: hot dog, hamburger, French fries, knish.
Small ticket items.
Well, you know, they were easily produced.
Mass produced.
Yes. But they were good. Shea Stadium knishes were excellent. Garcia flies one out to shallow center. And Lagares waiting for it to come down. 2 strong innings for Seth Lugo to start his night. No score going to the bottom of the 2nd. Big question today from Verizon. Jose Reyes, one of 3 Mets with 200 or more stolen bases. Who were the other 2?
It's an easy one. Got it.
You know, one right off the bat.
Yeah.
Hello. Kids love the elevation.
They do.
Kevin Plawecki leads off the home second. Now, you know, you've got the toddler who's, you know, the world's largest toddler.
That's right.
So are you still able to elevate?
No, he loves the elevation. He loves the separation, too, with the elevation.
Oh.
Yes.
See, not everybody's willing to do that, Ronnie. You got to have confidence in your ability to make the catch. Speaking of catches, Ruiz, the first baseman, unable to make that one. And Plawecki is aboard. So we mentioned it's the first career start in the big leagues at first base for Rio Ruiz. And, well, it didn't work out well here.
So why doesn't one of the infielders who plays all the time call him off and make the play like Mr. Albies?
Well, it should have been Albies' ball anyway.
Right. I mean, that was a tougher play, but for Mr. Ruiz, Albies should have called him off.
They're going to call that an error on Ruiz, allowing Plawecki to reach.
I thought they don't call an error when a guy doesn't touch the ball.
Well, he just grazed the outside of his glove. So now Travis Tyrone hitting 6th in the order. 41 big league at bats for Tyrone, hitting 171. So if Keith seems especially quiet this inning, grounded to third, another chance for 2. Garcia to Albies, and he drops it on the transfer. So that costs them the double play. They get the 5-4 force on Plawecki for the first out.
Almost a similar play to the one before. The key really in this play, other than Albies not being able to make the transfer, is you need a strong throw from your third baseman. And Garcia twice now has thrown a bullet over there. Never think of Garcia as being known for his defense, but 2 fine plays already.
Now Matt Reynolds playing shortstop. And he drives one to right center field, headed toward the gap. Inciarte won't get it. It hops against the wall, stays in play. Tyrone to third. He'll be held up there. It's a double for Matt Reynolds.
You know, the center fielder, Inciarte, kind of gave a deke that he was going to catch that ball, and I think it confused Tyrone. First, bullet hit from Reynolds to right center. You see the hand up of Inciarte. Watch him now. Watch the deke that he gives. Puts his arm up like I'm going to catch it. And that's the reason that Tyrone didn't score. Because watch Tyrone as he's going around second. He sees the arm go up, and what? Is he going to catch it? And then he kind of missteps getting through second base into third. So it broke his gait, really.
Second and third. 1 out. Gavin Cecchini hitting 8th in the order. Cecchini pinch hit in the first game and struck out. Infield back for the Braves, except for the first baseman Ruiz. Quickly 0-2 on Cecchini.
I don't think you finished your thought that.
Oh, I was going to say, if Keith is a little quiet this inning, it's because he's gone on an excursion. It's not time off. He's not getting that union break like Al did in the first game. He's still working, just working sort of in a different venue. 1-2 to Cecchini.
He didn't go willingly either. They kind of had to drag him out.
No, you remember the old hook that they used on the
Apollo stage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got hooked out of the booth. Tyrone at third, Reynolds at second with 1 out. And that gets behind Suzuki, and here comes Tyrone, or did it hit him? It hit Cecchini, so Tyrone will go back to third. Cecchini will go to first, hit by a pitch.
Hit him right on the top of the toe. Or the outside of the foot. Should correct myself.
So the Mets have the bases loaded with 1 out. And now Lugo, who has 4 hits this year. 3 of the 4 have been for extra bases. 2 doubles and a home run. And the curveball dribbled foul at the plate. 0-1. Tyrone at third, Reynolds at second, Cecchini at first with 1 out. Overpowers Lugo with the fastball, and it's 0-2. Max Fried's minor league numbers this year did not exactly jump out at you. He made 19 starts in AA, 2 starts in AAA. Grounded to short, might be 2. Camargo to Albies, and on to first. 2 innings, 2 double plays for the Braves, and once again the Mets are turned aside. After 2, no score. Braves won the opening game 9-2. Seth Lugo's had a couple of fairly clean innings. It's been a lot harder for Max Fried, but he's gotten double plays in each of the first 2 innings to negate Mets scoring threats. Mets have not distinguished themselves on the bases either in the first 2 innings. Lane Adams will lead off against Lugo in the 3rd. Lugo made the last out, so a little late getting out to the mound.
You know, Gary, it's interesting because when I hear you say it, it makes total sense. I'm sure I hit with the bases loaded a few times, right? But I never ever thought that I was ever going to hit into a double play. So I know you always say, hey, if you know you're going to hit the ball on the ground, I mean, just strike out, let the hitters hit, right? But I never ever thought that, and I probably, I'm sure I hit into a double play.
I heard that the first time from a manager.
Yeah. Oh.
If you think you're going to strike out, hit into. If you think you're going to hit into a double play, just strike out. Give us a chance.
You always think you're going to get a base hit. You always do, even if you're not a good hitter.
Lane Adams playing left field. 87 at bats this year, hitting .264. Pitcher Fried is on deck, and then Inciarte for the Braves in the 3rd. So the games that matter tonight are starting to heat up. The Cubs and Cardinals beginning their series in St. Louis, and it's really last chance saloon for St. Louis after they lost yesterday to the Pirates. 2 out of 3 they lost in that series. They're now 2.5 behind the Rockies for that last wild card spot.
Lester against who?
Luke Weaver.
Okay. Oh boy, Luke Weaver's been great for them.
Fabulous ERA, just over 2. Of course, the other part of that wild card race is Milwaukee, and they are off tonight. You just saw them over the weekend.
I did. They're 2 games back, but they've had to really, you know, they lost some of their starters, and they've had to really go through their bullpen, and their bullpen looked zapped, so they needed that day off.
Well, they played a fabulous series against the Cubs. The first 3 games all decided in extra innings before they got shut out yesterday. But the bottom line is they lost 3 of 4.
That's right.
Cubs have a magic number of 2 for clinching the division, so they could conceivably clinch tomorrow. That's lined over shortstop and into left field. A base hit for Adams. So he's aboard to start the 3rd. Second hit for the Braves tonight. Well, Keith has left the booth and he's moved on to his other pursuit. That is his overseeing of Keith's grill.
It's my annual visit out here to make sure everything's in order.
Having some microphone issues.
Got the, is it a microphone? They've got the old Mex burger going here. I see the jalapenos. How's the business been this year?
It's been busy. They're loving the burgers here. They know your name and my cooking. We're a good combination here. You know, the fans love it. They come here all the time looking, searching for Keith Grill. And since I've been here, you know, they've been coming even extra because of the way I season up the burgers. I show love to the burgers and I show love to the fans.
Does Keith ever come out here to oversee?
Yeah, Keith, once in the blue moon, Keith, you know, he pop up and make sure we're doing the right thing by his name, you know. He got a whole
He's a good man. He knows we're having fun. But business is good. Everything's clean. I'm very pleased about that. Great.
Well, honestly, I think we need Ronald in the booth, maybe instead of Keith.
Right.
He's got a pretty good line of patter going on there.
We get him with one of our first years. We had Danny Sessa, right?
Yeah,
get him and Danny Sessa.
I bet you Danny knows how to season up a burger.
Oh yeah, big time.
Well, that's the Mex burger right there with the jalapenos and the guacamole, Tootsie Pop on the side.
Or jalapenos.
Well, you know, Keith sometimes has trouble with word endings. You know, still working on the name of the Mets' longtime bullpen catcher.
That's right. It's a great burger, though. We've had that once.
Oh, more than once.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I have some numbers for you, Ronnie, that might be of interest to you as Fried fouls off the bunt attempt. In your career, you came to bat 13 times with the bases loaded.
I know I got hit in the head once on a 3-2 pitch.
That was your only RBI with the bases loaded. You never grounded into a double play with the bases loaded. You did, however, go 0 for 13 with 5 strikeouts.
What a clutch player.
But you got hit in the head. That's an RBI right there.
What a clutch player. It was an Atlanta Braves pitcher, too. I don't know why I can't remember his name.
Don't tell me.
Marty Clary. Marty Clary. 3-2 pitch. I'm ready to rake, and he hits me right in the skull.
Just glad you didn't tell me he was Lilliquist. Swing and a miss, and Fried is struck out. First strikeout for Lugo.
By the way, I have a little issue here, a little problem. So while Keith's away, I've moved a little bit over to his spot. Right. I sit in the middle, and his iPad is in front of me. So I'm turning it.
I would really suggest that you turn it away. The only problem is that as you turn it away, you're turning it within range of the camera.
Because there's a lot of things coming up here.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to turn it this way so you guys don't see it, I don't see it, and everything's good. It's all good.
That's very, very wise. I think discretion really is the better part of valor.
So there's some honor here, Keith.
Here's Cincinnati with 1 out and 1 on. It's like my mom always said, you just don't know where it's been.
That's right. That's right.
Flight patterns. I mean, the last 20 years.
I know.
We haven't had airplanes flying over like this, and now all of a sudden, the last 3 or 4 days, we're back in the LaGuardia flight pattern.
Wow.
Is it because the UN was in town?
I think the U.S. Open's done. Maybe that's why. That's a bigger reason.
It is done. They'll be back next year, right?
Yeah, every year. It's a good move by Lugo. One of the other things, if you're watching, Lane Adams, when he takes a secondary lead, he takes a huge secondary lead. If d'Arnaud gets a pitch to throw on, a swing and a miss, he should throw one down there, have a chance at a pickoff.
Do you think your newly minted first baseman will be ready for that?
You better be ready. They're buddies, right?
And Adams does get a significant secondary lead. You're right.
You saw d'Arnaud. He's ready. Usually you need a pitch down and in so the hitter, the left-handed hitter, kind of hides you as you're flipping it down there.
Well, Adams has 9 steals this year. He has not been caught. So he is a legitimate base stealing threat in a part-time role. He's running. Inciarte foul tips it, and the throw comes up short, and Adams has his 10th stolen base. Never easy when you get the foul tip on the stolen base attempt.
It just disrupts your timing. That's really what it does. Because it's a good pitch to throw on, fastball up and away. And just kind of spiked. Nice play by Reynolds. I always want to say Mick Reynolds with Reynolds because they're from the same college.
That's right. Both Razorbacks. 2-2 to Inciarte, who grounded out to short his first time up. Slap to short. Runner will have to hold. Reynolds throws out Inciarte for the second out. Adams holding at second. Well, it's time for our tweet of the game. Send us your tweets at SNYTV. Hashtag SNYTweet. Who will represent the National League in the World Series and why?
That's a good tweet of the game. I like that.
It's a strong field. We know that Washington is in. We know that the Dodgers are in. We know that the Diamondbacks are in. We know that the Cubs are in. Just waiting for the last entry. Ozzie Albies with 2 out and a runner at second. By the way, we mentioned the Cardinals and the Brewers. The Rockies, the party of the first part in that race for the last spot. They're home tonight against the Marlins and Giancarlo Stanton at Coors Field. As he makes his push towards 60 and the Rockies make their push toward Rocktober. Albies fouls that one in the dirt.
That one caught Darno. The Cubs have jumped all over the Cardinals early.
4 runs in the first inning off Luke Weaver. Here's the 0-2. It's too high. Your Spectrum high-speed pitch about to appear on your screen with sound effect. And now it has.
I mean, Lugo's interesting because he can go from 90 to 95 and anywhere in between. Breeds more of your young pitcher who's airing it out every pitch.
1-2 coming, and Albies takes a changeup outside. By the way, do you see how the Diamondbacks clinched yesterday? They clinched in waves.
That's right.
In the 4th inning, they found out that they had made the postseason because the Brewers and the Cardinals had lost. And then by winning their game, and they won on a walk-off by hit by J.D. Martinez, they clinched hosting the wild card game.
That's right.
And they all jumped in the pool, which you remember the Dodgers did
before
a few
the
years
Dodgers
ago.
did it. Yeah.
Right. Well, Albies strikes out. It's okay when it's your pool.
That's right.
When somebody else jumps in your pool, then, you know, you get a little perturbed. No score as we go to the bottom of the 3rd. For all the big games, including opening day and the Subway Series. Plus, it gives you opportunity to select your 2018 seating location this November during the online Select a Seat. Place your deposit today at Mets.com/deposits. 2 for the price of 1. What kid doesn't want to go to 2 games in one day?
That's right. Lefty, southpaw.
Top of the batting order for the Mets in the home 3rd. Brandon Nimmo. He had a double to left field his first time up. So the Mets had a double and a single in the first inning. They got an error, a double, and a hit by pitch in the second inning, and they haven't scored yet. Double plays short-circuiting both innings. 1-1 at Nimmo. Lagares and Cabrera to follow. Max Fried is tiptoed through some serious trouble. Made his major league debut August 8th. His first start September 3rd. This is just his third big league start. And the curveball lined the other way, and Nimmo is 2 for 2. So 2 base hits to the opposite field for Brandon, and the Mets get the leadoff man on for the 3rd straight inning.
Just nice hitting. Lefty on lefty curveball, just going with it. We've seen Markakis in the first 2 games do exactly that. Have to wait long enough and almost hit that ball equal with the plate. Nice job by Nimmo.
So now Lagares, who had a base hit through the hole into left his first time up, now 4 for 4 in the doubleheader. And he dribbles this one. Off the mound comes Fried, his only play at first, and he airmails it down the line. Nimmo to third. In comes Markakis to play, and Nimmo will have to stop there. And Lagares goes to second. And the Mets have second and third and nobody out. You can see the ball rolling around in the glove of Freeman a little bit before he released it, and then a bad throw.
Well, you're right. It was rolling, then he tried to rush it. And then once he rushed it, he threw it past the first baseman, whose only start is tonight.
That's an error all the way on Fried. Second error for the Braves. So he's beyond the 8 ball again. He has escaped trouble the first 2 innings, and he finds more of it. Now he'll face Cabrera, who grounded into a double play his first time up. Infield is back at second, short, and third. And the first pitch curve is dribbled foul.
Belated defense, course light for the Braves starting infield. Suzuki behind the plate first. Garcia and Albies have turned a beautiful double play. Camargo and Ruiz in there also. Inciarte, Markakis with all the gold. Lane Adams, a little struggle out there in left field so far tonight.
More like bronze.
Yeah.
Hit slowly, that'll score a run. Albies comes in, throws out Cabrera, and Nimmo comes home to score. Somehow Lagares did not advance on that. He stays at second base. The Mets have a 1-0 lead. Another bad base running play by the Mets. That's their third in the first 3 innings.
Yeah, it's a comedy of error on the bases so far. Anything hit to the right side, Lagares has got to know once it's past the pitcher. The only thing I could think of is that Nimmo, did he get a late break so Lagares wasn't sure? A little bit of a late break. He wasn't. That's what happened, is Lagares wanted to come, but he wasn't sure Nimmo was going to go. And you can't run him off the base, so can't blame it on one.
So now here's d'Arnaud. Mets have a 1-0 lead. And Travis fouls it away. d'Arnaud grounded out to third base his first time up. So the Mets able to take advantage of Fried's throwing error to scratch out a run. That's drilled to right center, chasing Inciarte back. He can't get it. Lagares will come in to score. d'Arnaud racing for second, slides in safely with an RBI double, and the Mets have a 2-0 lead.
Well, this time Fried is paying for all the base runners. You know, this has really been the theme of September for Travis d'Arnaud, is that he's decided to use the middle of the field, right field and right center, and it's paying big dividends.
53rd run batted in for d'Arnaud, extending his career high. Now Plawecki, who had a pop up on the infield that Ruiz let drop for an error. Comes after the first pitch change up, 0-1. Plawecki playing first base today for the first time in the major leagues. I don't think I've ever seen a game like this where you had two starting first basemen who between them had 1 inning of major league experience at the position. That was Ruiz.
In September, when you have a full roster of people.
And it's not like it's their first week in the big leagues.
Yeah.
Curveball for a strike, and it's 0-2. Travis Tyrone on deck. So the Cubs got 4 runs off Luke Weaver of the Cardinals in the first inning. That matches the number of runs that Weaver had allowed in his last 4 starts combined.
Wow.
That kicks away, and it went off Plawecki. So a second hit batsman. He hit Cicchini in the last inning, and now he plunks Plawecki.
Well, he has this curveball that he throws that it's supposed to be a back foot kind of curve that it drops under the bat and it drops down and in on the right-handed hitters. But the hitters are not giving any away, so the ball just ends up hitting them in the foot.
Chuck Hernandez, the Braves pitching coach, out to talk to his young left-hander.
Suzuki shaking his head. Come on, you're all right. Let's go. Throw some strikes. It's got to be positive in these instances. These kids are just learning at the base level how to perform on a big league mound.
I remember for Fried, he missed all of 2015 after Tommy John surgery, so he's just getting back to form. SNY Super Slow Motion brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. That hurt. Face plant by Travis on that slide. Attacked by your own helmet. Tyrone drives one center field, but right at Inciarte. And that's the second out. So Tyrone is 0 for 2, and now Matt Reynolds. Jumped on the first pitch he saw from Fried his first time up and drove a double to right center. Darno at second, Plawecki at first with 2 out. So is Keith inspecting all the other concession stands too?
No, I'll tell you exactly what's happening. Because he had to go out of the booth and perform a little skit for us. I would say he's taking a little time off before he comes back. That's my guess. I could be wrong.
So with this, let's see, he's more management than union from his, his overseeing of the Keith grill.
Maybe he saw something he didn't like.
Oh, he's correcting a violation.
Yes.
Maybe he's talking to the health department, making sure he gets that A.
What's on Monday night other than our game?
I can't imagine. 0-2 to Reynolds. Fastball in there for a call, strike 3, inning over. But the Mets get a pair. 1 earned, 1 unearned. Travis d'Arnaud an RBI double, and the Mets lead 2-0. Vacchiano's reaction to yesterday's Jets-Dolphins game, plus a look ahead to the upcoming game against the Jacksonville Jaguars on the JetsBlog.com, featured on SNY.TV. Seth Lugo granted a 2-0 lead as we go to the 4th inning. Nick Markakis will lead off. He has one of the 2 hits against Lugo, a single over the third base bag in the 1st inning. He takes a changeup for a strike. Markakis, Suzuki, and Ruiz. That's 3, 4, and 5 in the Braves order. No Freddie Freeman in game 2. It's a bit of a respite for any pitcher. Fastball strike to Markakis, 0-2. Well, Keith has rejoined us after his stint as overseer.
I was a little tardy. Remember, Gary, the other day we went out to the, well, of course we did. We did the broadcast out in right center field, and they took us the long way.
We went the wrong way. And we actually took a wrong turn.
The same thing happened. They had me down the right field line. They took me all the way around center field, down the left field line.
Why?
They were trying to parade you. That's what they were doing.
Then I got lost in the throng.
Did you meet anybody along the way?
No.
Of any interest?
No, I came in the middle of the last half, so I just decided to let you guys take it. I didn't want to horn in.
It was very kind of you to give us our space. By the way, Ronald did a tremendous job. We're thinking of recruiting him for the booth.
It was terrific, wasn't he?
Grill man out there.
He works hard, and I tell you, with that, I had to ask him.
Strike 3 called as Markakis is out.
I had to ask him. I said, because it's a lot of heat coming up when you got, 8 burgers going at one time. I said it's got to be tough on you when it's like 90 degrees. He said, yeah, I do a little sweating. So, but he was a terrific guy. He was so happy to be on TV. He was thrilled. All right, on to the game.
Just make sure he doesn't stint on the jalapenos.
No, they're loaded with them over there.
Here's Suzuki, who had a soft liner to third his first time, and he takes a strike. Lugo keeping the ball down, hitting corners, looking sharp.
Wow, 11-13. That's doing it.
Doing 1 to Suzuki. In the air along the line, a long run for Nimmo, but he'll get there. 2 out. Tomorrow, John Hine will have plenty to say about yesterday's Giants-Eagles game. 61-yard field goal. Plus, debate all the latest news from the Jets on Loudmouths, presented by Cheapo Air, tomorrow at 5:30, only on SNY. Have you heard the Spanish radio call of the Eagles game-winning field goal?
I did.
Ricky Ricardo, our friend who also does the Yankees games. It's fantastic. Si, senor. Si, senor. That was great. There's Rio Ruiz. Hits it sharply right at Cicchini. And Lugo's got himself a 1-2-3 inning. 9-pitch inning for Lugo. He's got a 2-0 lead in the 4th. is Reyes, Mookie,
Yep.
and Buddy.
Howard John.
Hojo.
Yeah.
You knew that.
Yeah, I knew Hojo and Mookie. Straw, when he got airlifted to LA, lost out on his chance.
Hojo had 3 30-30 seasons for the Mets. 87, 89, 91.
It's strange, isn't it? Not like the Giants, right?
Right. It's the anti-Giants.
Yeah.
Gavin Cicchini hit on the foot by a pitch his first time up. And takes high for Max Fried as we start the bottom of the 4th. You know who's 4th on that list? With 196.
David Wright.
That's exactly right. I wouldn't have guessed that, but I just saw it in the book. Seth Lugo on deck, and then Brandon Nimmo for the Mets in the 4th. And a slow ground ball for Albies. And Cicchini retired, 1 away. So you know the Cubs are playing the Cardinals tonight.
Yes.
Right? You know how intense that rivalry can be.
I mean, there's a hatred.
Right. And you know, right now the Cubs are trying to move closer to clinching and also trying to knock the Cardinals out. So Chris Bryant just hit a home run in the top of the 2nd. Lugo pulls one down to 3rd, and Garcia throws him out. So Bryant hits the home run, and the fireworks go off at Busch Stadium.
I can't even imagine. Oh.
How would you like to be the guy or the woman who controls the fireworks after that?
You played there. I mean, what kind of reaction is going to be to that?
It's going to be a bad reaction, and we don't want that guy anywhere near our nuclear weapons. Anywhere near the button.
You turned the fireworks of a home run into the button.
That is a big boo-boo. That's huge.
2 out and nobody on. Now Nimmo, who's 2 for 2, couple of opposite field hits. A single and a double, and he takes a strike.
Oh, boy.
Juan Lagares would be next.
See, so many of the young pitchers, when I watch them, when they step back, it's not one fluid motion to get everything going kinetically to the plate. There's always a pause where it's almost like they're kind of readjusting, mentally thinking about what they want to do. So it's a step back, it's a pause, and then go.
It's almost like the Japanese pitcher's hesitation at the top of the windup.
That's right. I mean, Seth Lugo does it also, and he's a little older, of course, than Max Fried, but you know, I wonder if it has anything to do with visualization, or because a lot of young pitchers are doing it now, and you know, a lot of them are taught the same way.
Got the little exhale there during the pause, and he strikes out Nimmo with the fastball. Second strikeout of the night for Max Fried in his first 1-2-3 inning. It's SUV season at your local Ford store. For big savings, go to buyfordnow.com. We go to the 5th inning, 2-0 New York. Steve Gelbs is standing by with a big Met fan.
Always great to talk to this guy, Kevin James, sitting to my right here. Kevin, how you been, man?
I've been doing really well, and you know, I'm very excited to be out here tonight and wrapping things up. But you know, it's bittersweet.
Well, I want to talk about the Mets in a second, but you're putting me in a little bit of an awkward spot here. Do you know that?
Because
I mean, it's 8:57.
Right.
We're supposed to promote the fact that Kevin Can Wait season 2 kicks off on CBS in 3 minutes. So I'm on an awkward spot here of not wanting to siphon off viewers from SNY, but still wanting them to watch your show.
I know it's you know, I'm kind of mad at the people in the stadium right now, and I'm going to let them know that they're not home. I hope they're DVRing it. That's all, just recording it.
But it's an exciting year for you. I know Leah Remini back in the cast this season. Your TV wife from King of Queens. Get back and work with her again.
It's amazing. And you know, we had her on last season for like 2 episodes, and it blew up. It was just great, and everybody loved it, and the chemistry was like we had never left. And so we found out a way to work it into this season, and it really gives the show a nice, you know, pep, you know, little energy pill. So it's really exciting for us, and she's just the greatest, and I love working with her. So.
Well, Kevin, Gary mentioned to you that you are one of the biggest Mets fans around, so I want to get your take on how this season has been for you. How have you dealt with the disappointment?
Frustrating. It's, you know, the injuries. It's just, I don't even know what to say. You know, it's really it's a little baffling, and it's a little crushing. But hopefully we can pick it up and make some great decisions and come back, please.
Is there something that you do here as Lugo registers the strikeout down the stretch, though, that you watch for with a lot of these younger players coming up? Anything that excites you?
That's all. You see somebody with some pop and coming in tonight. Actually, Max Fried is a friend of Gary's. He knows him, and he's pitching tonight. And he knows his father real well, so you know, he's kind of rooting for him a little bit there. But we're Met fans through and through, and yeah, you look for young guys that can just, you know, bring some pop and hopefully turn it around for next season. You know, you want hope. You know, it's all you ask for is hope. You know, and it's just frustrating when you don't have it. But we just got to stay injury free. If we stay healthy. Are we training? How are we training our men? What's happening? Why is everybody?
Kevin, I mean, that's a discussion for another time here.
Okay.
That's your question here. I'm not here to answer that as we speak. I do want to say this, though. The Mets will not be playing in October, so Mets fans need something to do, and I hear you've got something for them.
Yes. I'm doing a comedy special for Netflix October 28th and 29th, I believe, at the Beacon Theater in New York. So I'm excited about that because I haven't done a special since my last special was 2001. So it's been a while. So I dusted it off, and very excited to do some stand-up. Can
you give the fans here a sneak peek into the material at all? I don't want to put you on the spot here, but can we get a little something?
Absolutely not. There's not a chance. Not tonight. These aren't even my fans. They're here. They're not home watching Kevin Can Wait.
That's true. Can't hit on a guy for trying. Exactly. Kevin James, always fantastic to see. Always fantastic to speak with you. And I mean, he is a true. This is his premiere. It's premiering right now, and he's here watching the Mets. So thank you so much, Kevin.
Thank you. It's awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right, Gary, back up to you.
We have the occasional posers show up.
Yeah, no.
Kevin, when it comes to his Met fandom, is the real deal.
Yeah, big time. Good man.
2 strikeouts for Lugo to start this 5th inning. Lane Adams had a base hit his first time up.
First time I was ever at the Beacon Theater, I was with the guy to my right.
That's right.
I went to go see the Allman Brothers. Hook, line, and sinker. Whoa.
They had such great runs there.
That's such a great venue for a concert, too. Saw Pete Townsend do a solo performance.
Acoustic?
There. No.
Oh, okay.
Rock, and it was the first one he did solo in years, and I felt very fortunate to be there for that one. That was fantastic.
Two to Adams.
I saw, talking about Mets fandom, I saw Jerry Seinfeld there. I'd never seen him do comedy. I've only known him through the Seinfeld show. I didn't realize. Well, I did realize, of course, but his use of language.
And Lugo strikes out the side in the 5th inning. Impressive for Seth. 6 strikeouts, including 3 in the 5th. We're 3/4 of the way through. 2-0 New York. Well, here is the between games routine. This is us finishing the game. Take a little break. Then it's time to get the lineups, go to work, do a little eating.
What did I tell you?
Prep. Keith does a little sleeping and a little more sleeping. People come and go. Oh, now Keith's on it. Where's Ronnie all
Mama's
this time?
sandwich.
Where were you all that
There we
time?
go. I was out talking to a good friend of mine. Came for the second game.
I got a little quick 20-minute in. 15. That works.
And then we're ready to go. There we are. Actually on the air. That was your 20-minute break.
That's funny.
It's exhausting just watching.
I love the music to it too.
You know, that's our best time lapse since the rain delay in Atlanta. Do you remember that?
I do.
It was you and me.
That's right.
And we had a great time lapse shot of our rain delay over about a 2.5 hour span. Juan Lagares is 1 for 2 in this game after going 3 for 3 in the opener.
Well, we've been talking about Max Fried all night, but Dave Fried tonight, we have to remember this date. How quick was he with the lineups? That was the best ever.
Awesome. It was definitely right on the money. Bouncer for Camargo, and he throws out Lagares one away. So Max Fried has started tonight for the Braves. Wednesday night, the Mets will see Sean Newcomb, another rookie left-hander. Last night, Luis Guajara, another rookie lefty, started for the Braves. 3 rookie left-handers starting games in one season for the Braves. The last time that happened was 1945 when they were the Boston Braves.
Wow.
Bob Logan, Bob Witcher, and Lefty Wallace. Of course, it's Lefty Wallace.
I mean, you see a lot of teams in baseball that will go all season long, including the Mets, without a start from a left-handed pitcher.
That's also the World War II years too.
Over the bag and bobbled by Garcia. He recovers, and Cabrera is safe at first. Nice effort by Garcia after the bobble, but Cabrera has an infield hit.
Well, that's not a good display of soft hands right there.
Dribble has not had many leg hits, but he gets one here. And the Mets have their 6th hit in this game. Now Travis d'Arnaud, who drove in a run with a double his last time up. The Mets in the opener today lost their 90th game of the year. It's the first time that the Mets have lost 90 games in a season since 2009. When Jerry Manuel was the manager. So the most losses Terry Collins has suffered through in his 7 years as Mets skipper. And it's interesting that we come down to this last week of the season, and these two teams, the Mets and the Braves, have managers who don't know their fate once the season ends.
I'm going to have Dave look something up. I think I'm correct here. In 1976 with the Cardinals, we lost 90 games. It was the first time the Cardinals have lost 90 games since I think 1916, 15, or 14. Dave, could you verify that? So you can imagine what the press had a little fun with that. That's also the year Red got fired.
Well, I think that if you think about the season, of course, the Mets, it's been a big disappointment. For the Braves, I think coming into the year, they thought they were going to be working a lot of young players in, and a fourth-place finish wouldn't be surprising. But they played better than that.
Ball four to d'Arnaud, and so the Mets have 2 men on. Well, there's your 4th, 5th inning recap. Seth Lugo's been tremendous so far tonight. 5 scoreless innings. Well, I mean, the Braves took a step this weekend. They had a meeting with Brian Snitker, but I find it hard to understand why Snitker, who has an option on his contract for next year, has not been re-upped already. Why he's been left to twist in the wind like this. Because as you say, I think the Braves have very much lived up to, if not exceeded, expectations this year. You know, it's a little different for the Mets because you have, you know, Terry, who's gone through a bad year in which there were great expectations. Plus, you know, you're talking about the oldest manager in baseball and the longest serving manager in Mets history, and he might have his own ideas about what he wants to do going forward. So it's not quite as surprising that his fate has not been officially determined. Jim Johnson up in the Braves bullpen.
In fact, I read that some of the Braves players went into management, Freddie Freeman and others, to, you know, talk about how much they like their manager or talk on his behalf.
I mean, he was a lifelong organizational manager, Brian Snitker. I mean, he had been in the Braves farm system forever. Plawecki tries to find a hole, but it's cut off by Garcia, and Albies turns it over for another Atlanta double play. Their 3rd in the first 5 innings of this game. 5-4-3 to get freed through the bottom of the 5th. Sixth inning, the pitcher Max Fried leads off against Seth Lugo and takes a strike. Lugo has been right on top of his game. Just 2 hits, no walks, 6 strikeouts through the first 5 innings. Fried struck out his first time up, looking for his first big league hit. The Braves' first game starter, Lucas Sims, got his first hit in the opener. Lugo's retired 9 straight Braves. Toward third, a foul ball. So in that game in St. Louis, the Cubs are now up 8-1 in the third. And the highlight so far is Addison Russell diving into the stands to try and catch a ball and landing in a fan's nachos.
Oh, no.
This has been a jalapeno night, I guess.
Apparently the Cardinals management made a big show of presenting the fan with a new order of nachos.
Well, that's kind of putting an end to that Cubs Cardinal season right there.
Fried strikes out. That's 4 straight strikeouts for Lugo. 7 for the night. Let's check in with the studio. Justine Ward has a game break brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealer. By the way, Bryce Harper not activated today. The thought was that he was going to be, and his knee is okay, but apparently he woke up under the weather today, and that's why they didn't activate him. But they need to get him some games.
Yes. Need to get him in some live pitching and get out there and basically the stamina of standing on your feet and playing 9 innings, both offensively and defensively.
That's a great point, Keith, because, you know, a lot of people have invoked Kyle Schwarber, who sat out all last year and then came back for the World Series and did great, but he was DHing.
Right.
It's not standing out in the field for 9 innings.
Precisely. Everybody looks and everybody says, oh, you guys just stand around half the time. Well, try standing around in a 90-degree day, hot night, hot summer night, day in, day out. You better be ready to. You better be in shape.
And doing a semi squat, right? Every single time they get a ready position.
Line caught by Cabrera, and Inciarte is retired, 2 out.
Make like a goalie here.
Just with the right place, left of your screen. Hot corner.
Oh, so what a beauty!
Nice, Gary.
So I was just thinking, with Cleveland having the home field advantage last year, worked out to be an advantage for the Cubs.
Exactly right. Because they could use the DH in game 6 and 7. Here's Ozzie Albies. Oh. Albies has flied out and struck out. 1 for 6 in the doubleheader. Lugo's retired 11 in a row now since a single by Lane Adams leading off the third.
The one thing that's caught my eye tonight is that Lugo's thrown very few curveballs. Been his fastball, his slider's been good, occasional changeup like that pitch there. But his fastball command has been excellent.
You know, one of the rare times he's been behind in the count tonight. Lugo doesn't walk many, just 2.5 walks per 9 innings. Walked only 1 in his last start against Miami. There's a strike, 3-1. Well, they've gotten underway in Colorado after a rain delay. Rockies and Marlins. Rockies with a 2-game lead in the National League wild card race. It's a good changeup by Lugo, 3-2. Nick Markakis would be next. 3-2 coming. Albies lifts one to deep center. Back goes Lagares. He's got room. Side retired. 1-2-3 inning for Lugo. He's retired 12 Braves in a row. 2-0 New York in the 6th. SNY is brought to you by Budweiser. Look for the Budweiser team at Citi Field for your chance to be the Budweiser fan of the game and win unique prizes just like this lucky winner. Must be 21 and over. Travis Tyrone leads off in the 6th inning against Max Fried. Tyrone is 0 for 2. He takes a curveball for a strike. Tyrone, Reynolds, and Cicchini 6, 7, and 8 in the order for the Mets. Both teams have warm-up action going in their bullpens. Fried only making his 3rd big league start. His last one lasted only 3 2/3 innings, 71 pitches, so he's right up against that now. Meanwhile, Lugo has thrown 6 scoreless innings. He's only thrown 81 pitches. But Jerry Blevin's getting ready nonetheless.
And Jerry's throwing hard, so that should tell you something.
Pitcher due up 4th in the inning for the Mets. And Tyrone smacks one out to right center. Inciarte over in the gap. 1 out. So 1 away now, Matt Reynolds. Here's the Mets box score. Mets got both their runs in the 3rd. RBI ground out for Cabrera. RBI double for d'Arnaud. Braves have turned 3 double plays and the Mets have stranded 6. Otherwise the Mets might have a larger lead than 2-0. Reynolds drove a double to right center his first time up, struck out in the 3rd, 1 for 2. Reynolds getting the start of shortstop in the nightcap after Rosario played the first game, and he has his 2nd hit of the night. So Reynolds with a 1-out single.
Change up.
Stayed back nicely. Got too much of the plate.
And it looks like that's going to be all for Fried. After 5 1/3 innings and 75 pitches, Brian Snitker is on his way out, and he's bringing a right-hander into the game with Gavin Cicchini coming up. That will leave Dave Freed as the only participant named Freed in tonight's affair. Farewell to Max. The call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon. 2-0 Mets in the 6th. We'll be right back. Watch every SNY Mets game wherever you are on any device all season long with live streaming presented by Verizon. Just download the NBC Sports app or visit SNY.TV, your home for live streaming coverage of every SNY Mets game. The former Atlanta closer Jim Johnson on the pitch.
A lot of decisions, huh? 6-3, 22 saves on the season. Cicchini's going to face good fastball, good curveball from Johnson.
Cicchini's been hit by a pitch and grounded out 0 for 1. Johnson's missed most of September with an Achilles issue. Double play ball. Camargo to Albies and on to first, and for the 4th time in 6 innings, the Braves turn 2 on the infield. This one goes 6-4-3. Mets are doubled up again, 2-0 after 6.
Thank you, Lindsay. Down here with me, and one of their all-time great managers, my old manager, Casey Stengel. Casey, Gentry certainly lost it fast, didn't he?
Yes, I think that he was getting a little too excited this time. He's anxious to win. And, of course, being that many runs behind, they have the take sign on. And you could tell that the hitter was just irritating him and to try and make him throw that ball over the plate.
And Casey could go on, by the way.
Oh.
That was Game 3 of the '69 World Series. Tony Kubek interviewing Casey Stengel.
How about the headset and the contraption that Kubek was wearing?
It's like the Al Franken satellite things from Saturday Night Live.
That's right.
Jerry Blevins comes on to pitch the 7th inning for New York. Got the antenna going on. It's, you know, it's a long time ago. It's amazing they were able to even do that with the technology of the day. Nick Markakis leads off the 7th. So Seth Lugo, who's been limited in his pitch count recently, limited again today to 81 pitches over 6 scoreless innings. This was as good as we've seen him. No runs, 2 hits, no walks, 7 strikeouts for Lugo today. And by all rights, the Mets would have him a much larger lead, but 4 double plays, some base running errors on the Mets' part, and they've been limited to just 2 runs. Blevins last pitched on Saturday against the Washington Nationals, got an out, gave up a walk, and now facing Markakis, who has one of the 2 hits for the Braves in this game. That'll go out of play, 1-2.
You know, we're laughing at Kubek with that headset contraption he had on. By the way, 46 years later, we're still wearing a headset.
Yeah, without the good antenna, though.
I know.
Could you imagine?
The R&D for boot stuff has not been visionary, I'll tell you that.
We still have a telestrate.
We do?
I can't remember the last time you used it, but we have one.
Well, Ronnie's, you know, he can reach across the Ronnie can reach across the aisle.
Not tonight, I'm not.
Markakis, Suzuki, and Ruiz left, right, left against Blevins in the 7th. And the fastball pops inside, 2-2.
Well, Jerry's been watching, right? That Markakis hitting the ball the other way on the breaking ball, so he threw one inside. Smart pitching.
Markakis just 2 for 19 in his career against Blevins. Strike 3 call, got him looking at a fastball. And Markakis lingering to discuss it with Hunter Wendelstedt. Probably thought that pitch was low, I guess. Mask off, time to leave.
Well, he's one of those players that very rarely argues, so I think that's a 2 at bat kind of argument. He thought a couple of pitches in his second at bat when he struck out looking were not strikes, and he thought that one was down.
Borderline down.
We were talking before about d'Arnaud and the way he frames those low pitches, and that's a great example of it. Probably stole a strike there. Here's Kurt Suzuki, who's lined to third and flying to left, 0 for 2.
Well, take a look. Keep her on the knees. It's a tough one to take with 2 strikes, folks. That could go either way. In this instance, you got a pitcher's umpire. Strike 3.
That's dribbled foul. Blevins the first man to it. By the way, Jerry's making his 74th appearance today. That is a new career high for him. Very heavily used early in the season, particularly when the Mets were trying to hang around in whatever semblance of a race they could. But his appearances have slowed down the second half. Nonetheless, a new career high. Sam Freeman, next man up at the Braves bullpen.
What was Pedro Feliciano's high?
In the 90s.
98, something like that, maybe.
Wasn't quite Mike Marshall, but it was getting there. That's drilled down the left field line. A base hit for Suzuki, and then it'll hop up but not into the stands. Stays in play, and it's a double for Suzuki. Just the third Atlanta hit of the game and their first extra base hit. Let's check in with the studio. Justine Ward has another game break brought to you by the New York State Department of Health. Freddie Freeman will pinch hit for Rio Ruiz, tying run at the plate. So Freeman pinch hitting against the left-hand batter, against the left-hand pitcher. Freeman went 1 for 5 in the opener. It's a bit of a surprising move.
It is.
Snitker. I mean, there are lots of places he could have used Freeman. Why would you use him against Blevins?
I mean, I guess straight up he's going to replace Ruiz at first base, but
and he does have good career numbers against Blevins, but still, you'd rather have Freeman face a right-hander if you have a choice.
Well, you got a situation where one swing can tie the ball game up, and this is his best chance, I gather.
You don't need to get it all back right here, though. 2-0 game.
I agree.
Just, you have your best hitter with a base hit.
You got Matt Kemp available on the bench.
To hit but not to run, probably.
Right, but you got enough. Well, they've got enough bench to pinch run for him, and he's a threat to hit go deep.
Blevins misses with the curveball, 2-0. Well, Freeman is 8 for 16 against Blevins. He's had his number. There's Kemp.
Well, you saw Terry going over that scorecard because that confused him right there. Not many times will you see the other manager bringing a lefty to face Jerry Blevins.
Suzuki at second with 1 out, and Freeman bounces the curveball foul, 2-1.
It's almost like a move to keep Blevins in the game.
Well, you got a switch hitter on deck in Camargo. Let's have a right-hander up in the bullpen. And Freddie gets one in the air to center. Over comes Lagares. 2 out. So Blevins gets his man. Now you got 2 out. Tying run remains at bat. Camargo is due up. And he'll wait to watch Dan Worthen go out to talk to Blevins. Jason Bradford getting ready in the Mets bullpen. It's a lot of chess playing here for last week of the season. 2 teams out of the race.
Yeah, I think Worthen's just giving Jerry the, you go over the hitters before the game, but a lot of times for a guy like Jerry Blevins, who's he concentrating on? Markakis, Inciarte, Freeman. That's who he thinks he's going to face in the game, not a Johan Camargo.
Camargo tonight is grounded out and struck out. Both of those were as a left-hand batter against Lugo. Now he'll bat right-handed for the first time. Camargo's a much better hitter right-handed. He's hitting .394 from this side with 3 of his 4 home runs. So given the choice of turning him around, Terry Collins opted to not do that and leave Blevins in the game. Threw the fastball by him. 1-1.
So if you brought a right-hander in to hit against Blevins, the change would have been made to Bradford, and he would have faced the right-hander and then Camargo from the left side. Instead, You get Freddie Freeman, who flew out, and now Camargo from his better side.
So you think that's why Snicker made the move?
I don't know. If he did, that's pretty good.
But if you're Terry Collins, you could have taken Blevins out here and brought in Bradford to face Camargo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Turn him around to his lesser side.
Terry's sticking with the veteran here, who's pitched in close games late. This is his job, Blevins' job. He can get right-handers out too. It's refreshing. Terry taking a long time.
I think he's worked slower and slower as the years gone along.
I think so.
Up to 74 appearances will do for you. 1-2 coming, and the curveball misses. By the way, 92 appearances for Pedro Feliciano.
92
is the club record.
Pedro was a workhorse,
but he was 85 plus, like what, 3 years in a row, or
yeah. Well,
wore him out.
Well, he signed the 3-year deal with the Yankees. Never pitched for them, and the Yankees complained. Well, the Mets wore him out. Well, then why'd you sign him?
Exactly. Tough.
Pedro was great, though. Never said no. Took the ball every day. 2-2. Fouled away.
I remember he was the main man in all those battles he had with Chase Utley and Brian Howard. I mean, he was in to get those guys out, and they were
at their best.
They were fun. They were in pressure-packed situations.
Perpetual Pedro. 2-2 coming. Another fastball fouled off. Adonis Garcia would be next. Blevins working hard against Camargo. This will be the 7th pitch of the at bat. And the curveball down, 3-2. Suzuki at second with 2 down. 3-2 to Camargo, and he missed ball 4. And now the Braves have the tying runs on base with 2 out, and Garcia coming up and Terry Collins coming out, which means that Chase and Bradford should be coming in. First walk issued by Met pitching tonight, and Terry's going to make a double switch as well. So Blevins unable to close out the 7th. Bradford will come in for him. 2-0 Mets. We'll be right back. Motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. Jose Reyes comes in to play second base. He'll bat ninth. Jason Bradford on to pitch. And Jace Peterson will pinch hit for Adonis Garcia to get a left-handed bat up against Bradford.
Surprised by that move because, you know, Peterson's batting, you know, just a little bit over 200, and Garcia does give you that home run pop.
Peterson played the first game, went 1 for 4 with a double, tying runs on base with 2 out. And the first pitch grounded right to Plawecki. His first chance to handle a grounder, and he nearly waited too long, but he beats Peterson by half a stride and gets the Mets through the top of the 7th. Stretch time, 2-0 New York. Rafael Montero makes the start for the Mets. R.A. Dickey goes for the Braves. Our coverage begins tomorrow night at 6 o'clock right here on SNY. And there are the city probables for the remainder of the series. Wednesday night, Gazelman and the lefty Sean Newcomb. Last 2 home games of the season the next 2 nights at Citi Field. Changes for the Braves. Freddie Freeman stays in the game at first base after pinch hitting. Likewise, Jace Peterson at third base. And Sam Freeman will pitch in the bottom of the 7th.
Well, there's Sam Freeman's numbers. Big veteran left-hander, ex-Cardinal. Having himself a pretty good doggone good year. Tough against lefties.
Jose Reyes just into the game in a double switch. Will lead off for New York in the bottom of the 7th. Reyes played in the opening game of the doubleheader, went 1 for 3. It'll be Reyes, then Brandon Nimmo, and Juan Lagares for the Mets in the 7th. It's got both their runs in the 3rd. Braves have turned 4 double plays to thwart them from getting more. A change up by Freeman had Reyes spinning himself into the ground, and it's 0-2. It is a small but lively crowd that sticks around for a twilight doubleheader the last week of the season between 2 non-contenders.
You're here is because you're into your team.
So kudos to all who have made the trip, and kudos to we were talking about Pedro Feliciano before. Jose Feliciano was here to sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game."
Sweet.
That was really nice.
And he was just recently here and did the national anthem, so it's nice to see Jose here.
Reyes down on strikes to start the bottom of the 7th. Now it's Nimmo. who's had 2 opposite field hits tonight, a single and a double, 2 for 3.
I think the first time my dad and I ever had a serious disagreement was in 1968. Tigers Cardinals World Series. Feliciano sang the national anthem, and it was just a beautiful jazz version of the song.
Another one down the left field line by Nimmo. Chasing it is Adams. He falls down. Nimmo racing for second. He'll stop there as Adams got to his feet and recovered it. 3rd hit, 2nd double of the game for Nimmo. They've all gone to left field.
Well, good for Brandon. He's kind of broken out of his little slump here. And he's going, that's what you need to do. He got a nice quick swing, level. And Adams here does a tumble.
Hockey, they call that losing your edge.
I look like more like Crazy Legs Hirsch.
So the Mets have a runner in scoring position with 1 out for Lagares, who's 1 for 3 in this game, 4 for 6 in the doubleheader. Anyway, we were talking about the national anthem in '68.
I just remember my father did not like it. I thought it was the greatest thing I'd ever heard, and so we had a discussion about it.
It was very controversial at the time, and in fact, when Jose was here a few weeks ago to play the anthem, he played a very similar version of the one that he did nearly 50 years ago. And when you hear it now, it sounds so tame, but then it was a big deal.
Big deal. '68, Vietnam War. I mean, there were just so many things going on.
Lagares down on the changeup for the 2nd out. 2 strikeouts for Freeman.
One chasing here.
So 2 out. Nimmo still at 2nd, and now Cabrera. As Dribble had an infield hit his last time up. He's also driven in a run with a ground out, 1 for 3. Cabrera grounds one right to the 2nd baseman, and Albies throws him out. Inning over. A double and 1 left. We head for the 8th. Mets 2, Braves nothing. (9-2). Mets lead the nightcap 2-0 as we go to the 8th. Jason Bradford got the last out of the 7th. He'll stay on for the 8th. Tonight's quote of the game presented by Investors Bank, banking in your best interest. It was Greg Maddux who said, "I could throw harder if I wanted, but why?"
Got that? And not you players. I think some of the front offices around the league.
He only won 355 games, Keith. I don't know why that would be something you'd want to listen to. Lane Adams leads off in the 8th inning against Bradford. Goes after the first pitch fastball, 0-1. Adams 1 for 2, singled and stole a base in the 3rd. One of only 3 hits for the Braves in this game. Matt Adams on deck to pinch hit, so it's going to be an Adams family first 2 here in the 8th. And it's not even Wednesday.
I love when you speak French.
All they're missing is that extra D.
That's right.
And Uncle Fester.
Thing.
Cousin Ed.
Grandma.
Lurch.
Pugsley.
Did your parents like ever make you guys read or
Oh yes,
like do arts and crafts
yes,
or anything?
of course. There was always
There are a lot of hours in the day, Ronnie.
Yes.
We didn't have, you know, the organized activities that they have now. What were you doing?
I was in front of like adding and subtracting and reading books and stuff.
I was reading books too.
I'm not saying you guys weren't, but I wasn't able to organize enough to be able to watch all of the Addams Family.
You had to have your TV schedules down.
You had to get it with mom and dad. Okay, homework was number 1. You want to watch the Addams Family tonight? You got to do your homework when you come home from school.
I mean, I even had time for McGilla Gorilla.
Well, that one, I wasn't a biggie on that one.
Really?
No.
4 o'clock every afternoon.
It was Hanna-Barbera.
How much is that gorilla in the window?
I like Johnny Quest. Haji.
Much more of an adventure kind of guy.
Oh, nice slider.
Bradford strikes out his first Adams. 1 away. Now Matt Adams, as we check in with Steve Gelbs at the Bud Light Landing. His report tonight brought to you by Bud Light. Steve?
Gary Travis d'Arnaud behind the dish for this nightcap. And one thing we know about d'Arnaud is that in the past he's struggled with concussions. This year, and we're coming down to the end of it, luckily he's been pretty good and he hasn't had any concussions to deal with. And part of that in his mind is because of some new equipment that he's wearing, a new mask that's actually Tyler Flowers' company that produces this mask. It's called a Force 3 Pro Gear mask, and it's got shock absorbing springs in the side as that ball sneaks through right there. But 3 shock absorbers, 1 below the chin, 1 on each side of the temple, and what that does is it reduces the force when the ball hits you directly in the face. d'Arnaud says it's turned balls that hit direct from something that you can feel the direct impact on and it really rattles you to almost feeling like the ball just grazed against the side of your face. It's the side of your helmet, I should say. It's the same thing that Kevin Plawecki uses as well, and he echoes those sentiments, swears by it. Both say that soon enough everybody in the league should be using this thing.
That is outstanding, and it gets him out of those hockey masks. Can you imagine having those hockey masks on in the heat with a 95 temperature day and humidity like Atlanta or St. Louis? I think that is terrific innovation.
Yeah. Micah Johnson running for Matt Adams at first base after that infield hit trickled through. Well, you know, when they changed the collision rule at home plate, they talked about protecting catchers and keeping them from getting concussions. But I think catchers always felt that foul balls were much more of a contributing factor to concussions than home plate collisions.
Sure. It took Joe Mauer from behind the plate to first base.
Mike Matheny. You know, the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
And anything that dilutes the force of a foul ball hitting that mask is a welcome sight. And, you know, we've noticed the springs in those masks during the season, and that's a great report by Steve talking about that innovation, because that's something that's really important.
I agree.
Protecting the player.
Well, makes perfect sense.
We're starting to get all the pathology of what CTE is, and catchers want to stay away from that.
Inciarte 1 for 7 in the doubleheader. Takes the pitch outside, 1-1. Nobody up behind Bradford in the bullpen for this 8th inning. Inciarte hit a bullet his last time up right to Cabrera at third base. Still 2 hits shy of 200 for the year. And he pulls that one just foul. 1-2.
He's a funny looking hitter, though, for all the hits that he has. He's off balance a lot. You know, he kind of swings and runs and swings at the same time, but every once in a while he's got enough pop too to get you.
11 home runs this year. Ozzie Albies waiting on deck. And Johnson dives back in. Seth Lugo went 6 innings, allowed no runs, 2 hits, struck out 7. Jerry Blevins 2/3 of an inning. Bradford's worked 2/3. And Inciarte just got a piece of that sinker.
Inciarte looks like he's a little can't figure out Bradford in his off-speed sinker. He's got him out in front.
Well, nothing harder, is there, than trying to get to a number, you know?
Yeah,
and,
good point.
You know, as opposed to just play your game. It'll come.
How many does he need for 200?
2.
2 more.
He'll get it. He'll get it. He's too good a hitter.
I would think it's a lot easier to get to a hit number rather than a home run number.
Yes,
home run numbers can take you out of your game.
Ask Gary Carter.
Right, number 300 took him 3 months.
Did it take him that long?
Yeah.
Oh, we were all over him. We were all over him.
Line, there's
there you go.
number 199 for Inciarte. And again, the Braves get the tying runs on base in the 8th. So now just 1 hit shy of becoming the first Brave to get to 200 hits since Marquise Grissom in 1996.
Well, the ball's meant to be away, and it just stayed up and no sink and in.
Well, last 2 hitters for the Braves have 199 hits. Andrew Jones in 2000 and Terry Pendleton on the coaching staff in 1992.
The year after he won the MVP. Well, let's look at our Toyota tweets of the game. We asked you who will represent the National League in the World Series. Marissa likes the Diamondbacks.
Really? Okay, Marissa.
Nick says the Dodgers.
Okay, Nick, we got you.
I like that, the cold streak they got out of the way.
Dodgers.
Cappy likes the Dodgers. Oh, likes Granderson against Addison Reed in Game 7. This is a Dodgers Red Sox World Series. Jamie Callahan, who was acquired for Addison Reed, up in the bullpen for the Mets. Grounded slowly. Reyes, does he have time to turn 2? Probably not. With Albies running. And Reynolds smartly hung on to that ball. Thought maybe he could get Johnson taking a turn at third base.
Reyes does everything right. Comes and gets the ball. Quick release.
So 1st and 3rd and 2 out. And now Markakis. Are the Braves considering challenging that call? Was there a question whether
he came off
Reynolds
the bag?
was on the bag?
Well, it wouldn't. I mean, Inciarte didn't slide and didn't even touch the bag, did he? I mean, I guess that doesn't matter anymore.
Nope. Yep, they want to do it.
No, he said don't do it.
No, don't do it. Good.
That means keep it going.
Well,
roll the clock. Roll the clock. That's
I'm a little slow. Here we go. No, he's on the bag. Come on, please. We wasted 10 seconds there.
Could be worse. We've seen worse.
Well, every second.
How about the challenge in the 9th inning in the first game when it was 9-2?
I know.
Hey, the Brewers were livid on Saturday's game. Joe Madden put his hands to his ears, means the headset, right, to replay it, and then said no, and the umpires let him not have the challenge. Brewers went crazy.
A high strike with a changeup, and it's 0-2 to Markakis.
Markakis has taken a lot of pitches in the last 3 at bats.
There are no flashing signals to the infield. You got Albies at first, Johnson at third, 2 very fast runners. See whether they try and run a play here on 0-2. Darno at the lunge for that to save a run.
Well, you've got the tying run at first base, the go-ahead run at home, but most importantly, the tying run at first. You've got Markakis here. Has he not hit 2 line drives, base hits right down the left field line?
Yes.
Wouldn't you think you'd want to have Cabrera a little bit closer to the line?
Albies runs, and they'll let him go.
Wow.
Now the tying run is in scoring position.
If you advance scout the Mets, you know that they don't really defense that.
Now a base hit ties the ball game. Boy, oh boy.
4th stolen base for Albies.
That is very defensive in nature right there. Wow. Very defensive.
2-2 coming to Markakis. Slapped over third and just foul. He almost did it again. He's had 2 hits over that third base bag today, and he nearly had another one.
That's no smiles. That's guard the line.
Look at Cabrera. He's now straddling the line.
You got to hug that line on this guy. I can't let a ball get, well, you got the go. He's still the go-ahead run. Boy.
It shifts him over and move Reynolds over toward the hole.
No fooling.
Again, the 2-2. Grounded to short, moving in Reynolds, throwing on the move, sign retired. Bradford strands 2 in scoring position in the top of the 8th. Still 2-0 New York.
Great.
Lugo, 6 scoreless innings, no walks, 7 strikeouts. Max Fried wasn't bad either in his 3rd big league start. 2-0 Mets as we go to the bottom of the 8th. And hard-throwing Jose Ramirez will pitch for Atlanta.
When the Mets were in Atlanta, he had 2 appearances, one real good, an inning and a third. But his second one was not good. A third of an inning, gave up 4 hits and 3 runs.
Meanwhile, in Denver, the Marlins have just scored 4 runs in the top of the 4th off Tyler Chatwood and the Rockies. Marlins trying to play spoiler against Colorado. And also keep in mind, it's a very special day for the Marlins. It's the 1-year anniversary of the death of Jose Fernandez. So I would imagine they are playing with a little extra tonight in the teal. Here's Travis d'Arnaud, and he smacks one to deep left field. Back goes the left fielder Adams, and it's out of here. Number 16 for Travis d'Arnaud, and he gives the Mets some more breathing room. It's now 3-0 New York. And that one gives the Mets an all-time franchise record, their 219th home run of the season, breaking the record they set last year.
Oh, what a September d'Arnaud's having. Went a stretch where he only gave up 6 runs in 33 appearances. His last 2/3 of an inning has given up 7 runs now. They include this d'Arnaud home run.
Fastball down the pipe. Nice catch. Different angle for you on the home run. All right down Broadway. Oh, your eyes light up like a pinball machine.
16 home runs, 54 RBIs now for d'Arnaud as he extends his career highs. That Mets home run means $2,000, enough for No Kid Hungry to provide 20,000 meals courtesy of Citi.
What are they chanting?
There's a G pitch cast on the home run.
Well, I said it, folks.
Center cut.
Oh, medium rare.
Tri-tip. Milwaukee pops it up. Peterson into foul ground. 1 out. Now Nori Aoki will bat for Travis Tyrone. Aoki played the first game of the doubleheader today, went 0 for 4. Jerry's Familia is getting ready for a save opportunity.
I like Aoki's Ghostbuster song. It's peppy.
Said it was the first movie he saw when he came to the U.S.
Really?
That's why he uses it as his walk-up.
It wasn't one of Hollywood's best, but
well, it depends which one. The original. Or
the original. The original was okay. It wasn't great. Just Bill Murray was hilarious, and Mr. Aykroyd.
Harold Ramis.
Yeah, it was okay. It was okay.
Harold wrote it.
Sigourney Weaver.
A little silly.
Rick Moranis.
Oh, come on. The marshmallow in the end. Give me a break.
That was great. Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I believe the fans are chanting, "We want Apple." Did the apple not go up on d'Arnaud's home run?
Oh, it malfunctioned. Oh. Fix it. Your apple. Fix it.
WD-40.
Maybe it got messed up while, you know, 2 other teams were playing here last week.
Oh, that's right.
Ball 4 to Aoki.
I wonder how Met fans thought about Yankees playing here. I wonder if they felt invaded.
I'm not sure they gave it much thought at all, to be quite honest.
Well, older Met fans would know more about it because they played at Chase Stadium for what, a couple of years.
Yeah, 74, 75. I'm wondering whether maybe Lucas had something to do with it. You know, he made that apple pop more than anybody. There goes the apple.
Ah!
It's made its appearance, and the people are happy.
This is hilarious.
Oh.
You go, Met fans.
They asked for an apple. They got an apple. Thanks to Travis d'Arnaud and a little delayed hydraulic reaction.
They should have that thing where it lights up and, well, there it goes.
See you later, Apple.
Dive, dive.
I mean, it was the record-setting home run. It just took a little extra time.
How do you like those apples? I got a number.
Was the apple there in the first season at Shea?
The first season,
Oh no, I'm sorry. The first season at Shea. The old apple. Did they always have it? I have no idea. When did it come in?
1980s edition.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Then I was around then. I should have known that.
No, they had other things before the apple. They had Homer the dog. Who they tried to teach to run the bases, never quite got it. They had Metal the mule.
I remember the mule.
Who grazed out near the bullpen. No, but the apple arrived in 1980.
That's funny how
Ingenious.
I don't know how I don't recall. It must have been very important to me.
There goes Aoki, and he steals the base easily. Stolen base number 10 for Aoki, and half of those have come as a Met in less than a month.
Good jump. Aoki's got good acceleration. He's played well for the Mets. He really has. Came off the bag.
How to win friends, influence people, and maybe get a job.
Well,
Perfect. A perfect fourth, fifth outfielder.
It's been a good salary drive, as Keith likes to call it.
You were Ronnie.
I'm the one who called it, and Keith knew what I was talking about, but you'd never heard that before.
Oh, I've heard it. It's just that, you know, the parameters have changed, right?
Yeah.
The years of the one-year contract.
That's right. That's right.
Now you got arbitration.
Well, we were talking about Asdrubal Cabrera, which really was a.
Well, think about it. Cabrera, Reyes, Aoki, all veteran players who are hoping to enhance their position for next year, whether here or elsewhere, and they've all had great September.
That's right.
You got veteran players now with the high salaries. The benches have been affected, and think if you had a Reyes, Cabrera, and Aoki on your bench.
Reynolds skies one to center. Easy for Inciarte. And that's the second out.
That's a good point you make there, Keith, is that they're enhancing their position, but also the bench has gotten to a point now where if you're a veteran player, you can't make too much because teams don't spend that much on their bench. So you could overprice yourself out of a job.
Now Dominic Smith will pinch hit. Dom had a rough opener today, 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, and now just 3 for his last 31. Well, it is interesting that as Brant Snedeker comes out, and they'll make a pitching change. So they'll bring in the lefty to face Smith. And we'll see if Terry responds in kind. He's got right-hand hitters available. Ramirez out. 3-0 Mets in the 8th. We'll be right back. Ian Kroll will be the 5th Atlanta pitcher, trying to get the final out in the 8th.
Yeah, missed some time this year from a left oblique strain, hard throwing lefty.
Dom Smith will stay in to face him. Lefty on lefty. Aoki at second and 2 out. Yeah, first pitch slider, 0-1. Really been a rough go for Dom this last week. It does appear with Familia up in the bullpen that we've had a changing of the guard. The expectation was that it really wouldn't be till next year that Familia would reclaim his closer's role, but with AJ Ramos struggling, Familia looking pretty good these last few outings, it looks like he is once again in that role. 1-2 to Smith, and why not?
No, I think it's I think it was time. You know, AJ was just it was just too much of a struggle for him to get 3 outs. So give it to Familia, your record holder, and see what he can do. You know, it's got around the league, especially with 2 strikes, elevate against Dom. He's going to have to lay off it. And that will change it.
Right.
Yeah.
If he's going to have that uppercut swing, and I don't know where this came from so rapidly, then it makes you a low ball hitter. So think below the waist down.
And there it is, but he grounds one on the right side into the shift, and Camargo throws him out to end the inning. Darno's home run stretches the Mets lead. Now Familia on to try and close it in the 9th. For New York as they look for a split of the doubleheader. Other changes as well.
I guess Terry likes what he has seen from Familia. I know I have.
Dom Smith stays in to play first base. Nori Aoki stays in to play right field. And here's Familia.
Really, it's no secret with Jay Reese. If the ball is sinking and he's throwing enough strikes to get ahead, game over.
Looking for his 5th save of the year after 51 last year. Kurt Suzuki leads off in the 9th. 1 for 3 tonight. And he takes the sinker low and in for ball 1. Freddie Freeman on deck. Then Johan Camargo. The best part of that deal for the Mets is Freeman cannot come up as the tying run. Braves have had just 5 hits tonight. Just 2 against Seth Lugo in 6 scoreless innings. Familia trying to save it for him. And he's behind on Suzuki 2-0. Jerry Blevins worked 2/3 of an inning, chasing Bradford an inning and a third.
There used to be a day that this is almost an automatic take because you need some base runners.
That's right, Gary. I got pull over here. Now I got freed in my corner.
See, you think you have pull, but that's not exactly the way that just worked. I'll have to explain for the folks now that you just aired our dirty laundry. That's hit toward the right side of base hit for Suzuki, and so it's boxed around by Aoki. See, here's the deal. Dave Freed, our statistician, passed me a note saying that the Mets have 5 shutouts this year, and the next one, if they get one tonight, would be the 6th.
And I asked,
and I shook my head at him and I said, I already knew that. It's on my scorecard. So he gave the note to you instead.
No, not at all. I asked Dave in sign language when was the last shutout for the Mets.
Right.
I even asked the truck. And then Dave passed it to Kerry. Kerry passed it to me. And then me being the team player, I get an assist. I passed it to you.
Only because you got found out. You would have kept it for yourself.
So it's August 30th is the last day.
Last day. Fine, but can we watch the game?
Yes.
Here's Freddie Freeman, and he takes the pitch low for ball 1.
It's not quite a shutout yet.
That's exactly my point.
Well, it's okay.
That's why I was hoarding the information for the moment when it would become applicable.
Well, let's get it on here. Got 3 outs.
Freeman flied to center in his only at bat. That came in the 7th as a pinch hitter. And he hits a slow ground ball. Familia can't get it. And just like that, the Braves will get the tying run to the plate. Well, Familia has never been an adept fielder, and he couldn't get down to grab that one.
Well, he's really striding after it, and he just looked up too quick. You just always want to make sure a 3-run lead, get that out.
Is that one where Dom should have gone for the ball and Familia should have gone to the base?
No, that's too tough. If I were playing that ball, I would tell Keith, I've got it. Keith will go to the bag, and I just give him a little lob. Simple as that, because you got to know who's running.
Right.
Freddie Freeman's running. He's not back.
Also, Dominic had he was holding the runner on, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So it's an error charge to Familia. 2 men aboard for the Braves. Tying run to the plate, Johan Camargo, who's 0 for 2 and a walk.
Oh.
So Familia finds instant trouble. And Camargo hits a little dribbler. Darno's play will be to first, and that's the first out of the inning as the runners move up.
Well, that home run now is very large. The 16th home run last inning by Darno.
So 1 out, and now Jace Peterson will bat for the 2nd time. Peterson came up to pinch hit with 2 men on in the 7th and grounded out. Stayed in the game at 3rd base. Suzuki at 3rd, Freeman at 2nd. You've got a right-hand hitter on deck, Lane Adams, and Brian Snitker is out of left-handed bench now. And fastball strike to Peterson. Matt Kemp has come out on deck to bat for Adams. Kemp can't run right now because of a hamstring, but he can still swing the bat. And Peterson lines one the other way for a base hit. Suzuki is in. They'll stop Freeman at 3rd. So the shutout is broken. Nimmo.
What was that?
Spiked the ball back to the infield. It's now 3-1 New York. And Keith's stats have gone by the boards.
There it goes. I've jinxed it.
And now the tying runs are on base.
That ball just stayed up and over the middle here. Brandon's got to get the ball into a cutoff man. No. No.
I just don't understand what he just was trying to do.
He didn't know whether to throw to second or throw it to the cutoff man, so he just threw it on
into
the
the dirt.
Yeah.
Well, here's Matt Kemp, who has been laid up with a hamstring injury, but is a huge threat in this spot. Tying runs on base and 1 out. Oh, the caveat to that is if he hits a ground ball, it's an almost automatic double play.
It is, but he loves the ball middle in down. That's where he likes it. And the sinker of Familia, that's where it's placed usually.
19 home runs this year for Kemp, who is 2 for 3 in his career against Familia. Freeman at third, Peterson the tying run at first with 1 out. There goes Peterson, and it's fouled away. That's a smart play to run Peterson there, try and
better keep an eye on him.
Get the tying run to second and take away the double play possibility.
Got to keep an eye on him. Got to throw over.
Well, they allowed Albies to steal second base in the 8th inning in a similar situation.
This is part of the game today that is deteriorated also, is pitchers' inability. Not all, but I see a lot that don't hold runners on well. I think a lot of it is that there's not the stolen base is not that prevalent in the game today. I mean, Ronnie, you had to hold runners on back in the 80s.
Well, you have to hold a runner on here because you can't have him steal. That puts the tying run at second base. So you can't do that. You have to defense it.
And Kemp fouls one off, and it's 1-2. Flowers out on deck to pinch hit for the pitcher. Familia ahead on Kemp, 1-2. Grounded down to first. Smith hesitates and takes it to first. He had to throw the ball to second. For some reason, he looked home. He gets the second out, but this game should be over. Has to throw the ball to second base. No, the Mets have made so many mistakes in this game defensively on the bases.
Oh, you got to get, even if you don't get 2, and you're going to get 2 with Kemp, you got the force out. Minimum. You're holding the runner on. There's no reason for not knowing that there's a double play in order.
And that Freeman is not the tying run. You let him score. Who cares?
Yes. And that you should know that Kemp is not at his best.
So the game remains alive. Tyler Flowers gets an opportunity with the tying run at second base. The Mets should have about 10 runs in this game, and the game should be over. Instead, it's 3-2, and the tying runs at second with 2 out. And it's outside to Flowers, ball 1. That goes Sports Night after the post-game show. All the playoff news and the basketball news. Flowers started the first game. He had a 2-run homer in the 8th inning. Smith hoping that that blunder doesn't cost the Mets. 2 runs home for the Braves here in the 9th. Braves have more last at bat wins than any team in the National League. 20 of them this year.
Good sink. Down and in.
Peterson in second has got good speed.
Good grief.
I mean, that's all about, right, before the pitch is thrown, going through that mental checklist.
Yes.
What happens when I get the ball? One to Flowers. Grounded down to third. Cabrera, fair ball, takes his time, and the ball game is over. A shaky ninth inning on many fronts, but the Mets hang on to get a split of the doubleheader. Travis d'Arnaud's home run in the 8th inning proves to be hugely important as Familia saves it for Seth Lugo, who threw 6 scoreless innings, and the Mets win the nightcap 3-2.
Familia's second save, Lugo's 7th win. And the offense, Keith?
Well, it's all Travis right there. Mr. d'Arnaud, the guy on your left of your screen. He's had another big night. His 16th home run. That was the go-ahead, the final run. That was the deciding run, excuse me. Also drove in a run earlier in the game in that 2-run third with an RBI double. So he is our hero, 2 for 3 on the night.
Game summary brought to you by Kia. Seth Lugo gets his 7th win with 6 brilliant innings. He struck out 7, didn't walk a batter. d'Arnaud drove in 2 of the 3 runs as the Mets get a split of the doubleheader after the Braves won the opener 9-2. The Mets take the nightcap 3-2. For every Mets win, the Mets organization is proud to contribute $2,500 to Northwell Health and the Cass Institute for Women's Health. For more information, visit northwell.edu/cats. This win brings the total contribution so far this season to $167,500. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Bud Light, famous among friends. Buy cash for life from the New York Lottery. You could win $1,000 a day for life. By MTA Bridges and Tunnels. Cashless tolling is here. Get Easy Pass today to save up to 50% on tolls. By Jeep and the unique brand of freedom you'll only find in the full line of Jeep vehicles. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. And by New York Community Bank and the NYCB family of banks. Visit them at mynycb.com. Final score in Game 2, the Mets 3, the Braves 2. Game 3 of this series tomorrow night. Rafael Montero for the Mets, R.A. Dickey for the Braves. Our coverage begins at 6 o'clock tomorrow night right here on SNY. Long day of baseball. Mets and Braves split a pair. Now for Keith Hernandez, Ron Darling, Steve Gelbs, and our entire SNY crew. I'm Gary Cohen at Citi Field. Time for WB Mason post-game live. Gary Apple, Nelson Figueroa.